Very good. So, Tim Alcoholic. There's a lot of material in those pages 128 to 131. So, rather than trying to speak on the whole thing, I picked four phrases, which I think I can say something useful about for 2.5 minutes each. The first one is the phrase something better than gold, which is what the program offers. Um, there was a Californian speaker who would say, and I think this is very helpful, that on any given day, at any given moment, sobriety is sufficient, because there are days and moments when one appears to have little more than that. One is simply sober. Everything else might be shot to blazes, either practically or emotionally. But at least one is sober. And I uh, to struggled with the not drinking bit of the program for a few months in 1993 between my arrival in AA and my last drink. And what was behind that was an unacknowledged demand that AA deliver something more than merely sobriety. So that when I assessed sobriety as I saw it and found it wanting, I went and had a drink. I think that was what was going on. Of course, one is driven by unconscious motivations, and those can be seen only askew, but I think that was what was going on then. So at any given moment, sobriety is enough. But something more is over time provided. Um, they say sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. I got a lot very quickly from doing the steps in my first year, apart from sobriety, of course. And then I stalled for a few years and then had to go back and do it properly, which means doing precisely what it said in the book, big book, but no more than that, not trying to bolt other fascinating, interesting things onto it. I can fail in the steps two ways. I can fail either by not doing them as they're stated or by elaborating on them unnecessarily, and I think both are dangerous mistakes. The thing which is better than gold is being able to be at peace regardless of circumstances. What I've learnt in AA is that my internal condition has got little or nothing to do with my circumstances, my past, my makeup, uh, my parenting, the society I live in, what is going on in that society. My internal state is down to my reaction to that. The second phrase, giving away the entire product, as it were, the product of doing the AA program is having a life at all. I was uh, at risk of dying in my drinking, but I drank very large quantities. I'm somewhat slight of physique. Uh, I had something of a death wish. I wasn't too enamoured of life before I ever drank, so my grip on it, particularly when I was drinking, was tenuous, to say the least. So Alcoholics Anonymous, by giving me sobriety, certainly has given me life. I must give away the entire product, well, my entire life. Uh, Step three, to turn my will and life over to God. I think, unfortunately, it means what it says. It doesn't say management of my life, a direction. No, my life is the thing which is turned over, no longer mine. It's loaned back to me. The days, 24-hour periods are loaned back to me to redeem, like vouchers or coupons. And so the job each day is, it's a 24-hour program. First thing I do when I wake up in the morning is connect with God and say, what do you want me to do today? And then my job is to do that, precisely that, and no more than that, no less than that, and no more than that. That's what giving away the entire product means. And it relieves one of all sorts of other things. Ambition is a dreadful thing. It's imprisoning. having to look after my financial security is a terrible thing. I ask God for direction, and I appear to have to take actions which promote my financial security, but my financial security per se is not in my hands. It's directly affected by what I do, but it's in God's hands. It's this idea of principal and agent, that when the agent acts on behalf of the principal, the business is not the agent's. The agent is off scot-free, provided he does his job properly. The business remains the business of the principal. Giving away the entire product means not only to give each day to God for direction, but to ensure that a lot of that time thus given away is given away in sponsorship of others. Service is good because it makes ultimately the carrying of the message possible, but it is the carrying of the message which is where the high octane fuel is in AA, the transformation. I don't think the first 11 steps transformed me. I think they placed me in a position from which the process of transformation could be begun. I think change starts with step 12. Everything else clears the decks for change to take place. The third element I wanted to talk about was family obligations, and it talks later on about becoming a member of the community, and there is passing reference to business and finance and so on. And I'd like to cross-reference, if I may, to a passage on page 19, where it says a much more important demonstration of our principles lies in our respective homes, occupations, and affairs. Now, that can be very easily misread to suggest that much more important are our respective homes, occupations, and affairs. And it doesn't say that. It says the demonstration of these principles is most effectively made in those areas. So I have a job. I have two jobs, in fact. I do service in AA and in another fellowship. I do a lot of recovery-related things. I sponsor a lot of people. I run a home. I've had lots of family obligations over the years. Fewer now, some people have died, but there are some still there. Those are not the most important thing. The most important thing is my relationship with God. However, in AA, to be useful to others, I've got to have some sort of something to show for it. I've got to have worked examples of how the program works. It is that and other people have different experiences, which is fine. I think there are genuinely different roles here. That some people, the spiritual demonstration lies chiefly in the insight, the spiritual connection with God, the connection to the higher realms, and that's their job to show people that. I'm right at the other end of the scale. I know very little about God, but I know about how to get stuff done practically in the world. And it is that side of things which makes me useful to others. The mistake with those is to treat those things themselves as the things which are of ultimate importance, with AA simply being a mechanism for me to get my own way and be successful in the world. That's a terrible trap that I've seen lots of people fall into. And my opinion, it's just an opinion, but based albeit on some experience and some observation, is that that's what takes a lot of people out, that those other things become more important than the fundamentals of remaining in conscious contact with God on a daily basis. The last point, the last 50 seconds, spiritual make-believe. In step 11, it says praying only for knowledge of his will and the power to carry that out. And I can fail, as I said earlier, with two other examples in step 11, either by not asking for knowledge of God's will and the power to carry that out, or by asking for more than that, trying to crack the secrets of the universe, trying to elevate myself to someone who has understood the world spiritually. That's not my job. I've got to keep right-sized, which means I'm concerned in step 11 and with my whole spiritual journey only in what does God want me to do today? And it's approaching 10 minutes. So what God wants me to do right now is to shut up, and I'm going to do that. Thank you for listening.